I think it's important for everyone to try their best to make someone happy just by saying, like, oh, thank you, for like holding the door for someone or saying thank you. Don't let your self doubt or your worries hold you back from doing something that you love. Hello and welcome to the Business of Happiness podcast. I am Nula MacCarthy, and today's going to be a great day. And you know why it's going to be a great day? It's going to be a great day because today, instead of Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy right here interviewing someone else, I get to interview her. So.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting, Nula. Well, this is our 100th episode of the Business of Happiness podcast. And you had this great idea. It was Nula, my daughter's fabulous idea, to interview me on the episode. So I'll tell you, if there's ever been a great day, today is going to be a great day. I am so excited to be interviewed by this wonderful human being, and I'm so excited to introduce all of you to her because I just think she's phenomenal.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart. All right, well, let's get this going. What is your plan for today?
Okay, so my plan for today is to ask you a couple questions, and I think that's it. But other than that, I think so.
Okay, well, let's go. You've got some questions planned for me.
Yes, I do.
First of all, can you believe that it's been 100 episodes?
I can't believe it because I still remember the first day that when you first had it at our old house. We were in Falmouth when you were starting to do this, and you were like, I need to have all these shelves cleared out. And I'm like, it's my craft room. Where am I going to put all my crafts? The next thing you know, my brother puts his big computer in there, and it's no longer a craft room.
I know, it was a craft room that got converted to a podcast studio. And what did you think at the time, Nula? Did you think this would actually be a true podcast?
I thought it would just be like one of those little podcasts that not everybody knows about, that's just like kind of chilling in the corner.
You had no idea, huh?
No, but now like you've had a lot of guests on.
Yep. Wonderful.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm excited to have you interview me. I'm honored. Thank you very much. From the craft room to this new fancy podcast studio. All right, here we go. What's your first question?
What do you like most about the Business of Happiness?
Oh, awesome. I think that the thing I like most about it is I get to meet incredible people. You know, I think especially during this time when we're nervous with COVID to be traveling and meeting new people, I've had such a wonderful opportunity with the podcast to meet people from all over the world and to learn what happiness means to other people, because I think it means something different to everyone. And it's important to let people be heard and seen and recognize that you're not alone out there. I think possibly that's the best part of it, is realizing that we're not alone in this world and that we're not alone in our fears and we're not alone in wanting happiness. I think that's something we all have in common. So I think that's my favorite thing about the podcast, is getting to meet other people and not feeling so alone.
Yeah. I know that like just a couple days ago you went on this like big trip, and it's like first trip since COVID started, and then it's like thinking, then you're just sitting there thinking, should I really be traveling?
Yeah.
Even though, and you think about it now that there are boosters out and everything, things seem safe, but you know that there's COVID's still there, but some people just act like it's starting to go away. So that brings me to something that I like to that my teacher actually likes to tell me. She says that when you are looking for positivity, you will find positivity. Same thing if you're looking for negativity, you will find negativity.
And your teacher's so right about that.
Yeah.
What you focus on, you attract more of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I think that's definitely been true for me in the podcast, is the more I look for happiness and other people who are finding happiness in business and in their lives, I see that it's more and more possible, and more people have new ways of finding happiness in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that, by the way. Your teacher's brilliant. That's a really beautiful thing that she taught you. Yeah.
I remember you were really happy when you first got this neon sign back here.
Yeah. The neon sign brings me a lot of happiness, Nula. You're right. You're right.
Okay. What's your favorite part of your job as an orthodontist?
What is my favorite part of my job as an orthodontist? My favorite part is empowering other people with their smiles. So here's the thing about when people are unhappy with their smiles, they're shy to share them. So they're reluctant to smile in a big, broad smile. They're reluctant to even speak. Some people are so embarrassed of their mouths and of their teeth that they won't speak their truth to the world. And I love in orthodontics being able to give that to someone, that they can be proud and confident with their smile so that they can smile more and feel happier, right? Because sometimes that's all it takes, is just putting a smile on your face, and that they can speak their truth. The other thing about orthodontics is it takes a while, right? It takes like 2 years to straighten your teeth properly. And it takes 2 years of every day taking care of your teeth and moving your teeth. And the patient is responsible for it. So there's this consistency and clarity of the goal of a beautiful smile. And these are tools that people can use in other parts of their lives as well. So I love teaching that to young people and teenagers, but also to adults, many people who don't realize that they can take their smiles and step by step create and transform their smiles into something completely different. And it lets them know that they are capable of so much more than they ever thought they'd be. It gives them self-confidence in their own ability to do things that seem at first impossible.
My next question is, how do you think the listeners feel about your podcast?
Oh, that's a good question. I hope they feel inspired. I hope that they get some tools that can help them feel better in their lives and in their businesses. And I hope they learn that they're not alone and that there's so many ways to achieve happiness. And I hope that this podcast lets them know that they, as I mentioned with orthodontics, are capable of so much more than they give themselves credit for, that there's hope.
One thing, as a listener, I'd say this is your podcast is very inspiring. Like, you can see the difference from you moving on from doing these. This is your 100th podcast, and you've only been doing it. How long have you been doing your podcast?
Oh, that's a great question. I started this podcast really the end of the summer of 2020. So it's been about a year.
And you're already on your 100th podcast.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you're also an orthodontist.
Mm-hmm. So what does that tell you, Nula? What do you get from that?
I get from that you inspire me to know that you make me feel like I can do whatever I want to do, because I know that it will all be okay, because I have other people who will help me through the process.
Yeah, that's true. I'm glad you feel that way, because it's true. I really believe that. And what do you think would happen? I'm interested to know from you, if you started something and it didn't work out and it was a failure.
I would go to whoever, I would probably go to you and tell you that I didn't work, this so-and-so, whatever, didn't work out. It didn't work out, and I tell you that I'm disappointed that it didn't work out, but I'm also glad that I still got to see what would happen.
And learn from it.
Yeah.
No, that's really great. That's a really mature perspective, sweetheart.
Okay. What does it feel like to be a mom and own all these businesses?
Oh, that's such a good question. And I think a lot of people have a hard time with that, playing different roles. I think I love being a mom. You know that. I think it's definitely by far the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. And I love being an orthodontist.
Mhm.
And I love being a podcaster.
Mhm.
And I love being a business coach.
Mhm.
I think it's kind of like if you went to a buffet
Mhm.
and you got to choose all your favorite things on the plate and you just kept picking all your favorite things. It doesn't take away from any of the other things. It just, you enjoy each part of it. And I love filling up my plate with all the things I love to do. Now, sometimes it means that I need to take a little break for myself. So I have to be sure that as part of that buffet meal, I remember to put a little piece of myself on there too.
Because sometimes, but also sometimes, do you think all that is too much?
That's a great question. And I think that's when you need to take some time for yourself, take a little break. Taking breaks are really important. But I think if I didn't do one of those things that I love, I'd feel incomplete and not as fully happy. I love doing all those things. So it's important to make time for each of them. And here's my secret. Imagine that plate of food again.
Mm-hmm.
When you're eating, let's say you picked lots of sweet stuff and lots of savory stuff and all your favorite meals. As you're eating one, to really enjoy it and really savor it and be very present in the moment. And then when you go to the next one, to really be present with that one and not be thinking about the one you just finished or the next one you're going to eat, but being really present. And that's what I do as a mom. When I'm with you, I try to be fully present with you. And that's a challenge, right? Sometimes it's a hard thing to put the work to the side and just say, Nula, right now, you and I are going to enjoy this time together. Like right now when we're podcasting, which is so much fun, we put aside homework.
Yeah.
We put aside work for work. We put aside making dinner. And right now, we're just being present in this moment and really enjoying it because we know how much this means to us. Because one of my love languages is quality time. So this for me is amazing because I'm spending some really good quality time with you. What is one of your love languages?
Physical touch.
Mm-hmm. How do you know that?
Because every time when I get so overworked about something or so stressed out and I feel like there's no way to fix it, I just, when I get a hug, it's like having a popsicle when like all the outside's hard and then when you get to the middle, it like softens and it's like soft.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'd say that's true. Giving you a big hug always helps. Yeah, feels really good.
And one thing that you're saying is not to be like so focused on the future.
Mm-hmm.
What might happen, like if you're driving down the road and you like see a very fast turn, oh no, I'm gonna like cut the corner or like I'm gonna hit something. If you, like I said before, if you're looking for the negative, you're gonna find negative. So if you say I'm gonna hit a rock or something, you're probably gonna hit a rock or something.
Yeah, rather focus
Yeah.
on the positive and on the moment,
Yeah.
the present moment.
Not on what you might do or
Mhm.
what you did. Like if you're passing it and you did hit the rock, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know. If I wonder if there were any animals there. It's like you're thinking about what happened, and then you end up taking away time from what you're trying from where you're driving to where your destination. Because then getting you thinking about all this makes you think about it and turn around and go back and check to make sure you didn't do something wrong. And then it takes away time from where you're trying to go or what you're trying to do.
I think that's really introspective. I think many people do that. You're right. They spend so much time worrying about the past or worrying about the future that they don't allow themselves to be present in the moment and feel safe in the moment. Remember that mantra we sometimes say, in this moment I am safe? When sometimes one of us is getting stressed or scared about something. That happens to you sometimes when you're getting anxious about a big test or something at school that you're nervous about. And then just reminding yourself that in this moment, I'm safe. Yeah.
What is it like being up on a podcast with me?
Oh, I love it. It's phenomenal. You know what's really interesting, something I didn't expect, is how much insight you have for a 9-year-old. It's really cool. It's one thing that definitely is true in orthodontics as well. I think we don't give children enough credit to rise to the occasion. And I love seeing that about you. I love setting high expectations and then watching you elevate to see them through. And you've got such great ideas, Nula. I'm so impressed. I love you so much. It's so fun to watch. So my answer is I love being on a podcast with you.
Okay.
What we need right now is to leverage happiness in the workplace. If you're a leader or manager struggling with retaining team members and frustrated with the current staffing shortage, group coaching for your team is your solution. Christina Unrein and I have partnered together to build a 10-week group coaching workshop for your business, focused directly on increasing happiness and positivity in the workplace. How do we do this? We use the awesome systems you already have in place and support your team members directly with tools for a mindset shift for awareness of their individual power to own their own happiness. Learn how to cultivate accountability for happiness in your team members and guide them with the tools to own their empowerment at work. Turning around workplace culture starts with individuals, and Christina and I are here for you. Email me at tarryn@thebizofhappiness.com if you are ready to make workplace happiness your competitive advantage.
Being on a podcast, what I think of being on a podcast with you is really fun because you didn't when I said, oh, I want to be on a podcast with you. Some parents are like, no, I'm too busy. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Oh.
But I'm really glad that you said yes, and you thought it was an amazing idea, and you worked really hard trying to set this all up and get it all ready for me.
Oh, Nula, it's an honor. Thank you so much. Did you always want to be on a podcast? When did you get this idea?
When I saw your podcast with, I forget who they were, but it was like your 40th podcast or something.
Oh, really?
When you launched that, I remember seeing Dad watching that, and I'm like, oh, can I watch it? And I watched it, and I realized how much you care about the other people who are with you on the podcast, and not just thinking about, oh, I need to do this podcast to get more podcasts so that more people can get this and know about Embrace. You do it to make other people happy, not just to make you happy, but for other people to be happy.
Is it important for you to bring happiness to other people?
Yeah, I think it's important for everyone to try their best to make someone happy just by saying oh, thank you for holding the door for someone, or saying thank you, or just leaving something for someone, or being going up to your brother, your sister, or one of your friends and being I'm so glad that I have you to help me, and I'm so glad that I have you in my life.
And how does that make you feel when you thank someone or have gratitude?
I think that it makes me feel really good, but then afterwards I think, oh, I made another person's day.
Yeah, that means a lot.
What's your favorite thing to do at home?
Oh, my favorite thing to do at home is sit around the fire and chat with one of my family members.
I do see you, like, every time you get a FaceTime, you're like, oh, I'm going to be outside by the fire.
I do like being around the fire. What's your favorite thing to do at home?
I really like to play card games, especially Magic. That's really fun, but I really like just sitting down on a couch and reading a book.
Yeah.
What podcast do you listen to?
Ooh, I have a bunch of podcasts. I love Next Level University with Kevin and Alan. I love the Matthias Barker podcast. He's a psychotherapist who's excellent. I love Lewis Howe's School of Greatness. I have so many. I don't think I could narrow them down to one.
Well, do you have any others? I bet you have like a ton.
I do have a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have so many. I love listening to different podcasters with different techniques and
Yeah.
new ideas.
And seeing like I like listening to like see your podcast and then seeing other podcasts and thinking, wow, how much the podcasts have in common, like how much people like do in most podcasts, and what things people just they come up with on their own belief and their own ideas.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool, Nula.
What is it like being your kid's orthodontist?
Oh, I love being my kid's orthodontist because I'm very proud to be able to help them transform their smiles. And I just love having you come into the office. Do you remember when you came into my office and I was so excited and sharing you with everybody and how the team was so excited to have you there as well? Did you feel super special?
Yes, I did. I felt like I was a movie star, like walking through, like all the paparazzis, like, oh, can I get your picture? Can I get your picture?
Yeah, that's really fun. I love that. I love having you there.
Yeah. I remember when I went in for the very first time to get my palate expander, and I'm like, and I was in the car, and I'm like, goodbye, popcorn, because I had like 30 bags of sweet and salty popcorn in my backpack as I just take it out.
Yep.
And slowly put it down.
Can't eat popcorn or the palate expander.
But now I can.
Yes.
I'm very happy.
And you did fine that whole year without popcorn. Yeah, you did fine.
What is your definition of happiness?
Oh, good question, Nula. My definition of happiness. My definition of happiness is having so much gratitude for everything I have in my life and enjoying that moment in my life and so excited for more. I think that knowing what you have and being grateful for what you have lets you see how much wealth and abundance you have in your life and resources, and being so grateful for them, because similar to what you said, if there's ever a problem, you have so many people you can go to for help and advice. And when you feel that way, you feel really happy and safe. But I also believe in dreaming big. And I love having big dreams. And so having that idea of being fully grateful for everything I have in this moment, but having so much eagerness for even more, that feels happy for me. What's your definition of happiness?
My definition of happiness, well, I haven't thought about that. I guess my definition of happiness would be making sure that you are feeling your best self, but also making sure other people feel their best self.
Oh, I love that, Nula. That's beautiful.
Thanks. Why do you think so many people are unhappy?
That's a big conversation. I think that people don't realize how powerful they are in their lives to change things. I think a lot of people feel like they just have to settle for feeling the way they do and not try to change it. I think people are unhappy because they feel trapped and stuck. And people feel really happy when they have freedom and choices and options. And I think that people don't realize that they're more capable than they think they give themselves credit for, that they can achieve their dreams. They feel like they're not capable of achieving their dreams. And I think that's why people feel unhappy. They think that there are forces outside of themselves that are limiting them. And that's actually one of my dreams in life, is to help people understand that they're limitless, and the only limits they have are the stories that they put on themselves. Why do you think people are so unhappy?
I think that people are so unhappy because they're always like just out there, and like so many people are looking around and they're like, I have a job and I have 4 kids and I don't know how to manage this all, and like they're so stressed out that they think of all the things that they can't manage, and they don't even think about all the things that they're actually doing, and they're not grateful for. And sometimes people just aren't great. They don't realize how much they're putting on themselves.
Yeah, and it comes back to what you were saying earlier, focusing on the negative, right?
Yeah.
Maybe people just seem to be focusing on the negative too much and not on the positive.
And every time I get upset, you're always like, it's just the story you tell yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You always make other people ask what their superpower is. So, what is yours?
What is my superpower?
Mm.
My superpower is being able to see the opportunity and the positivity in every situation. So even when something feels negative or difficult, I think it's a superpower of mine to be able to see the positive side of it and what can I learn from it, and not feel so pained by it, but understand how I can take the lesson and leave the pain. I think that's my superpower. What do you think your superpower is?
I think my superpower is my teacher's always telling me that I am like I'm a leader, and I think that like leading other people
Yeah.
and being like in charge and like helping other people get through hard times, and being like I guess like in a pack of dogs, like the alpha dog,
You like being the alpha dog. You like leading people.
because I'm always at home. I'm always just sitting there, and my brothers are like pushing me around, like, go get me a bag of chips, and I'm like, no, it's right over there.
I think that you're a leader. I think that's a good assessment of who you are, Nula.
Okay, so this has been really fun, but I have one last question.
I'm excited for it.
Okay, what are 3 easy ways for people to feel more happiness in their businesses and in their lives?
Oh, great question, Nula. Let's see. 3 easy ways. Well, I think one easy way is to focus on positive things. You've mentioned it, right? To recognize when you're only looking at the negative things, and to open your eyes for a new perspective for what is going right in your life. So maybe allowing yourself to see what is available to you. That would be one way to feel happier. I think another way is to take time for yourself every day. Because especially people like you who like to be leaders and have many passions and do many things and take care of many people, which many business owners love to do, and especially people who care about other people in the world and want to make their lives better, I think it's important to take time for yourself every single day, not just putting it off for a vacation or until the weekend, but finding time for yourself, just quiet time every single day. And one thing I do, which you know every day, is meditate. I think that's a very big happiness factor, is meditation.
Every morning when you wake up, I'm like, oh, good morning. Why don't you come down and help me make breakfast? And then you always say to me, I'm sorry, I have to go meditate first, and then I can help you.
Yeah.
You always try and find time to meditate. And I remember when I was nervous about going to my new school, I was so nervous about it. And every morning, you'd just be like, come to my room in the morning, and we can do some meditation together.
Did that help you?
Yes, it helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And then we'd pick like certain like stones and stuff that I'd keep in my pocket and think, this is what will make my day amazing. This is what will make my day amazing. And thinking, and then over time, I didn't need that stone anymore, and I just leave it at home, and I'd think, every time I went to school, every day is a great day.
Yeah, I think starting out with that attitude is a winning attitude, definitely. Let's see, I guess I mentioned 2 things. What would be my third thing? I think the third thing is to give yourself permission to dream. So not just settling for where you are, but if you're unhappy, to dream of something extraordinary and know that you can make it come true. I think many people think that they just have to live their lives in their position that they're in, and they forget that they have the power to actually make their lives spectacular and find happiness. So I think the permission to dream.
I've been dreaming about owning a bakery called the Spinning Stool, and then I'm just sitting there thinking, I know what it's called, and I know what times I'll be open. And then I'm thinking, if I know what times I'm to be open, maybe I should figure out what food I'm to have, and what people I'm to. And then I just stop myself there, and I'm thinking, I might want to wait a little while until I know a little more about owning a business and stuff.
I think you're on your way. I think you should continue to dream, Nula. You're doing a great job. I don't think you should wait at all. Keep going with it, because there are many 9-year-olds that have incredible passions. And so really that telling yourself that you need to hold back is just a story, right? You can actually do more than you think you can. You might be able to have a business if you want to, if that's your dream. How do you feel when you're dreaming about your bakery?
I feel like there's going to be a messy bakery, a messy kitchen.
How does that make you feel?
Well, I always like to have things nice and neat and laid out for me.
Yeah.
So, like, when it's messy, I'm like, I need to clean up.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You'll have to focus on keeping it clean, too, then, I guess. Yeah. Well, this has been so exciting, my love. Thank you for sharing my 100th episode with me. I appreciate it.
It was really nice. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad. Can we do this again at the 200th?
Possibly.
Maybe we do it again.
Maybe.
Do you have any final words that you'd like to say to our audience after being on the podcast?
I would like to say, if you want to be on a podcast, which you might, don't be afraid to ask someone to, don't be afraid to go out and ask someone, hey, do you mind, text someone or be like, can I be on your podcast? And then be like, I watched the business of happiness, and I know what to do. Basically, what I'm saying is, don't be afraid to try something new because you don't know if you're good at it. Don't let your self-doubt or your worries hold you back from doing something that you love.
Oh my gosh. I think that's the perfect ending to this podcast. Thank you, Nula.
Thank you.
And thank you to all of you for sharing this super special moment with me. And remember, when you feel good is when you can do good. Bye-bye.
Bye.